Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a small, peaceful town with just about 4,500 residents, sits quietly at the confluence of the Ohio and Kanawha rivers. But behind its picturesque beauty lies a strange mystery that has made it the center of chilling stories for decades. In the 1960s, a mysterious creature emerged, spreading fear among the locals. A tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes and massive wings, it was called Mothman. Sightings of this entity were frequently reported, often accompanied by bizarre events and even tragic disasters. Was Mothman merely an urban legend, or did it truly exist as an omen of impending doom? Join me as we uncover this terrifying story and unravel the mystery of Mothman, one of West Virginia's most frightening legends. The story of Mothman began on a November night in 1966, when 5 men digging a grave in Clinton, West Virginia, encountered a large, dark figure soaring above them. It wasn't like any bird they had ever seen. It resembled a human with wings, moving in an eerie manner. That same month, on November 15, 1966, 2 young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, Steve and Mary Malik, had a terrifying encounter while driving through the TNT area, an abandoned industrial zone that had once been a munitions plant during World War II. On the road, they saw a strange creature, standing between 6 and 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes that pierced through the darkness and enormous wings spanning about 10 feet. The creature didn't just stand and watch, it chased them. As they panicked and sped away, it flew after them at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. But the most terrifying thing wasn't its speed, it was the way it flew. It didn't flap its wings, but instead rose straight into the air like a helicopter. The very next day, on November 16, 1966, Marcella Bennett and her family had a similar encounter near the TNT area. As she stepped out of her car, she saw a large shadowy figure moving nearby. She described it as a winged man trying to emerge from a large doorway. Overcome with fear, she nearly dropped the child in her arms. The creature's glowing red eyes locked onto her, paralyzing her with fear before it vanished into the darkness. But these were just the beginning. Over the next year, more than 100 residents of Point Pleasant reported seeing Mothman. Most descriptions remained consistent: a tall, humanoid figure with large wings, piercing red eyes, and the supernatural ability to ascend straight into the sky. Adding to the mystery, strange lights were frequently seen in the sky, leading many to believe that Mothman was somehow connected to UFO activity. Beyond Mothman itself, many witnesses claimed they were later visited by the Men in Black, mysterious, well-dressed individuals who often arrived in pairs or small groups. These figures asked bizarre questions and sometimes even threatened witnesses, warning them not to speak about what they had seen. Some people also reported experiencing strange physical effects, such as swollen red eyes after encountering the creature, or even receiving telepathic messages hinting at an impending disaster. These eerie encounters raised even more questions. Was Mothman connected to other supernatural phenomena, or was it part of something even bigger? The climax of this mysterious saga occurred on December 15, 1967, when the Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio, suddenly collapsed during rush hour, sending 46 people to their deaths in the freezing waters below. Strangely, in the days leading up to the disaster, several witnesses had reported seeing Mothman near the bridge. Many began to believe that the creature was not a harbinger of doom, but rather a warning sign, a supernatural entity trying to alert people to the coming catastrophe. After the Silver Bridge collapse, Mothman sightings declined dramatically, and eventually, the creature seemed to disappear altogether. But its legend was far from over. Newspapers, radio broadcasts, and word of mouth helped transform Mothman's story from a local mystery into one of America's most famous urban legends. In fact, the name Mothman was inspired by the popular Batman franchise at the time. More than half a century later, Mothman remains a symbol of Point Pleasant. Every year, this small town hosts the Mothman Festival, drawing thousands of visitors. A statue, a museum, and countless books, films, and documentaries keep the mystery alive. But the question remains, what exactly is Mothman? An extraterrestrial being? A case of mass hysteria? Or a supernatural entity warning of impending disaster? Let's continue our journey of discovery. The appearance of Mothman in Point Pleasant has led many to wonder, is this a supernatural creature, or can its existence be explained through science? Here are some of the most popular theories. The first theory, misidentification of natural birds. One of the most widely accepted theories is that Mothman was simply a large bird misidentified under poor lighting conditions. Some bird species share similar features with the reported descriptions of Mothman, such as the sandhill crane, a large bird with a wingspan of up to 6.5 feet, and notably a red patch around its eyes, which could be mistaken for the glowing red eyes described by eyewitnesses. If a sandhill crane flew over Point Pleasant at night, it could easily be perceived as something supernatural. The barred owl. Some scientists believe that witnesses may have encountered a large barred owl whose eyes can reflect light, making them appear to glow red in the darkness. Combined with the owl's eerie call, this could have scared locals into believing they had seen something far more terrifying. However, this theory has some issues. Eyewitnesses consistently reported that Mothman stood at human height and could fly without flapping its wings, traits that neither cranes nor owls possess. The second theory, environmental pollution and its effects. The TNT area, where Mothman was frequently sighted, was once a munitions plant during World War II. Over time, toxic chemicals leaked into the environment, particularly contaminating local water and soil. This has led to two hypotheses. Animal mutation. Some researchers suggest that pollutants from the TNT plant may have caused genetic mutations in local wildlife, creating a creature with an unusual appearance. However, no scientific evidence has confirmed that environmental mutations could produce a being with glowing red eyes and the ability to fly upright. Toxic-induced hallucinations. Some scientists theorize that exposure to contaminated water or air pollution might have caused hallucinations among Point Pleasant residents, making them see things that weren't really there or amplifying their fears. However, this doesn't explain why hundreds of people describe nearly identical sightings of Mothman. Theory 3. Mass hysteria and collective delusion. A psychological theory suggests that Mothman sightings resulted from mass hysteria. Point Pleasant was a small town where information spread rapidly through newspapers and word of mouth. As a few people started reporting Mothman encounters, fear could have spread, leading others to believe they had also seen the creature, even if there was no real evidence. History has recorded similar incidents, where an initial rumor sparked a wave of false reports due to the effects of crowd psychology. The fourth theory, a hoax or a misidentified weather balloon. Some skeptical researchers believe that Mothman was nothing more than a prank played by local teenagers. They may have created a fake model or dressed up to scare others, and from there, the legend took on a life of its own. Another theory suggests that people may have mistaken Mothman for a weather balloon. Under low light conditions, a balloon could appear as a winged creature soaring through the sky. However, this explanation fails to account for why multiple witnesses claim that Mothman chased them at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, something impossible for a prank or a weather balloon. Theory 5. The Cornstalk Curse. Is Mothman a harbinger of doom? A more supernatural theory connects Mothman to the legendary curse of Chief Cornstalk, an 18th century Shawnee leader. According to local lore, Cornstalk was unjustly killed in 1777 near Point Pleasant, and before his death, he placed a curse on the land. Some believe that Mothman is a manifestation of this curse, appearing to warn of upcoming disasters, an idea reinforced by the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967. However, there is no historical evidence that Chief Cornstalk ever uttered such a curse, making this theory more of a local legend than a factual explanation. Despite many theories being proposed, to this day, there is no completely rational explanation to decipher the Mothman phenomenon. It could simply be a misidentified bird, a case of mass hysteria, or even an unexplained supernatural event. But whatever the truth may be, Mothman remains one of the strangest mysteries in America, continuing to captivate the interest of those fascinated by unsolved phenomena. From a small-town mystery to a global phenomenon, Mothman has become a pop culture icon thanks to books, films, and tourism inspired by the legend. In 1975, author John Keel published the Mothman Prophecies, in which he not only recounted sightings but also linked them to supernatural phenomena such as UFOs and the Men in Black. The book gained widespread attention, taking Mothman beyond the borders of the U.S. and turning it into one of the world's most famous urban legends. The story became even more popular when Hollywood adapted Keel's book into the 2002 film The Mothman Prophecies, starring Richard Gere. The movie dramatized the eerie events of Point Pleasant, adding psychological and supernatural elements that made Mothman even more terrifying and intriguing to the public. Rather than seeing Mothman as a haunting memory, the people of Point Pleasant have turned it into a unique tourism brand. In 2003, a 12-foot stainless steel Mothman statue was erected in the town center, attracting thousands of visitors for photos each year. In 2005, the Mothman Museum officially opened, displaying documents, photographs, newspaper articles, and evidence related to the legend. The annual Mothman Festival, held every September, draws 10,000 to 12,000 visitors, generating around $2 million in revenue for the town each year. Today, Mothman is not just a mysterious phenomenon. It is a cultural and economic symbol, keeping Point Pleasant on the map for those fascinated by unexplained mysteries. To some, it is a terrifying monster, representing humanity's fear of the unknown. To others, it is an omen, or even a supernatural guardian warning of impending danger. Some even see Mothman as a protective spirit, appearing not to harm, but to alert people to disasters. The debate over Mothman's true nature has only fueled the legend's lasting appeal. No longer confined to a local myth, it has evolved and spread into mainstream culture through books, films, tourism, and even commercial branding. From a strange event in Point Pleasant, Mothman has transcended the boundaries of a small town, becoming a global symbol that embodies both fear and fascination with the unexplained. So, what do you think? Does Mothman truly exist, or is it just a product of human imagination? Let me know in the comments.